Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Chatting with Sherri. Today we have the author David Clive Price, and he's going to talk about his new book, Chinese Walls. Welcome, David.
Thanks. Great to be with you.
Hi. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. All the way from Hong Kong.
Yes, calling in from Hong Kong. That's so, especially what's going on right now. That's really nice of you.
Right. Yeah, and a novel about corruption.
Yeah, exactly. That's you're right there.
Sadly, yeah.
It's, I mean, your book is really what's going on because it's actually all over. I mean, we're watching it here in the States too.
Yeah. Well, the book. Sorry. Yeah, carry on.
Go ahead. Oh no.
Well, I was just
go ahead.
The book is about corruption in high places. That's all. It's not directly about China, of course, but it's just corruption in high places, London and Hong Kong. About in the just after the handover. So of course it has resonance with what's going on now, but it's specifically that milieu with London and Hong Kong corporate world, and of course before the big 2008 crash and recession.
Yeah, which
is the whole
change on everything.
That global corporate world. Yeah, right.
Why don't we start with you telling a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, sure. I'm obviously from the UK. I'm born in London and went to school there and then went up to Cambridge University to study history and then went on to do a PhD there in the Renaissance studies. And I got a fellowship from there to go over to Italy, where I gave lectures at Bologna University and at Florence University, International University, and thought that I might be on the way to being an academic, and then thought, well, maybe I shouldn't really be, although they published my book at the Cambridge Press and about the Renaissance, I didn't really see myself as being an academic or a professor for the rest of my life. So I sort of skipped ship and ran across the Apennines and bought a little farmhouse together with my first partner in a corner of Tuscany called Volterra. And for the next 3, 4, 5 years, I farmed wine and olives and wrote my first novel and translated Italian literature into English, some Italian literature into English. And then after 6 or 7 years there, I thought, well, I've really done this well. I'm crazy about new cultures. That's very much me. And I then went to the Far East because friends said, why don't you try Japan? That's a fascinating place. Maybe you can write about that. I went there to start off with. Japan is quite difficult. I spent a year there. I did write a book. I traveled around the whole island but I didn't feel entirely happy there. I had some Japanese, but I couldn't really get fully into the world there or the culture there, much as I admired it. And friends said, come to Hong Kong. There's a job at a big bank called HSBC here. I think they're looking for a speechwriter. And having, written already, I'd already written a bit of travel. I wrote a little travel book about Italy. And done some travel journalism, and PhD at Cambridge, etc. I was a writer and a bit of a businessman as well, and then HSBC took me. So for the next 4 years, I wrote speeches for this big bank in the run-up to the handover of Hong Kong to China. Having done that, I thought I'd come to the end of this chapter, so I left the bank and set up my own company, which allowed me also to continue traveling around Asia and discovering all kinds of new cultures, which is what I'm crazy about, and to continue writing, to write much more, in fact, than if you're in the corporate world. So